Hello everyone, a pleasure to be here today. My name's Brett Lay, the Director of Data Center and Cloud Technology and Solutions at Juniper Networks for EMEA. We recently conducted a joint survey of 230 plus CIOs, direct one-to-one interviews with 30 plus customers, holistically looking at the changing requirements inside the data center, the move from virtualization to software-delivered services to automation and orchestration of cloud-enabled applications and services in the marketplace. That joint PwC study showed that there's three top key requirements inside our customers today. One of security, absolutely, compliance, regulation, data sovereignty and protection absolutely requires, in a multi-cloud environment, top integrated security capabilities. Automation and orchestration became number 2 requirement ahead of total cost of ownership inside our customers. And this is key change in terms of the delivery of new services. Customers are looking for automation, service agility in the marketplace, reducing cost and complexity, removing risk from delivering their services to drive the business forward. And with that comes the total cost of ownership savings. So these new architectures are pushing fast at a pace. There are multiple inflection points inside the data center, and we'll cover those off as we go through the presentation today. It wasn't so long ago where there were distinct silos for specific infrastructure stacks for applications, one-to-one correlation between compute, network and storage to application architectures and services. That led to an inefficiency model, heterogeneous model, cost and complexity of operations. Then came virtualization, driving the efficiency of infrastructure inside IT, maximizing the investment that we've made by driving utilization of those resources. As the world evolves at a fast pace today, the advent of machine learning, artificial intelligence, new capabilities, whether it's machine to machine, human-driven or machine learning capabilities with IoT and data, big data capabilities. In today's world, the demands are ever more increasing as we move forward. So cloud is the context for everything in terms it generates its own issues. It generates a lack of visibility, it generates a lack of control, but it gives scale, it gives pace, and it gives business agility to our customers. As we saw in the previous slide, automation has now taken over TCO as the primary driver. And security is a holistic consideration for all aspects as virtualization and automation cuts through the domains that traditionally existed inside the silos. It's no longer just the CISO's challenge, it's the business challenge for inherent security. However, IT is becoming multi-threaded, it's becoming multi-dimensional. How many customers of you today here are using software as a service? How many are using Salesforce.com? How many are using Concur Expenses? How many are using Office 365? And then how many of you are using and consuming maybe Google services, Dropbox? So you already have multiple clouds to deal with. You just might not know it in terms of how you run and consume your IT services today. They used to say that the virtual machine was the atomic unit inside the data center and everything was about the virtual machine. The proliferation of cloud-native application services, microservices. I had a customer only last week say our aim and goal is to have 200 applications on a single compute platform. 200 applications, when we looked at it, it's 200 microservices. So pushing intelligence further into the edge of these microservice components, containerization. And wrapping a security model as we layer through that is absolutely key. If you look at our platforms, whether it's routing, switching and security, they become software and virtual in nature. So in this case, virtual SRX and containerized virtual SRX for containerization applications and services. So with automation, speed is absolutely key. The future belongs to the fast. With agile application development methodologies, it's about fail fast, fix fast. It's about optimizing capacity on demand, so scale out architectures rather than scale up these days. And the imbalance is prevalent in our customers in operational imbalance cost of sometimes 5 or 6 to 1 in tooling and instrumentation versus infrastructure and applications. So reliable, consistent, scalable performance in a predictable fashion is absolutely key to digitizing operations of the future. This coexistence of mode 1, mode 2 operations as it's commonly known in the industry and with our customers today. Automation is no longer a luxury or a nice to have. It's an absolute imperative. It's a must have. And if you look here, the volume and complexity of applications and services being delivered over time, IT delivering those services operationally in a manual fashion can only scale in a linear way so far, so fast. As application components start to be containerized, more applications in terms of their complexity and the demand and consumption increases, that overtakes the ability of manual IT models to deliver those services effectively and in a timely fashion to their users or their customers that are the consumers of those applications. This generates the automation requirement. This is the gap where the business starts to look at the cloud. They get their credit card out, they start to procure services from the cloud, and that starts to have an impact and a challenge on IT. This is where IT and the tolerance zone becomes inefficient. But ultimately, IT is then on a drive for operational efficiency through automation. Otherwise, they'll continue to be a cost and inhibitor to the business. So right now, the transformation that's occurring in customers in the private cloud to then leverage and bring those application workloads as the cost operationally of running those at scale as they grow very rapidly in those public cloud environments, the cost is going out of control and they need to regain control back in-house and reduce the cost of those application delivered services through private cloud automation capabilities. I love this slide. I can't keep up. There's so much technology out there. What we've seen in our CIOs that we talk to and IT organizations of our customers is that they've got closer and closer to the business over the last 5 or 6 plus years. Being closer to the business means you're more integrated, you're more valuable, you're a business partner in delivering value of IT into the organization and into the marketplace. With that has come more and more demands on IT. More and more questions about the latest technology trends, the latest technology capabilities, the latest cloud services. I can't keep up. What about digital platforms? What about serverless computing? What about secure containerized architectures moving forward? I can't keep up. And so as companies start to transform, it's about how do they revolve in the organizations and evolve in the marketplace. Chief digital officers coming in to our customers looking at holistic digital approaches. The specific role of the CISO, the CIO, and the chief digital officers is evolving at a rapid pace. So at Juniper, we have the self-driving network approach to automation. And it starts with human-driven automation. Standards-based infrastructure models in Junos that runs across our routing, switching and platforms and security. Simplifying network operations is key to us. Removing complexity, gaining greater insight into the infrastructure, being able to extract telemetry information run analytics and make decisions is absolutely key. And being able to do that in an event-driven automated way with that telemetry information and Juniper event-driven infrastructure, it then evolves into machine-driven automation, sophisticated algorithms, pre-programmed machine-to-machine, application-to-application communications, thresholds and automatic pre-programmed activities and tasks that are there and overseen by humans, and that interaction where the intelligence isn't quite there yet. And ultimately, it's about autonomous. It's about IT-driven decision-making within artificial intelligence and machine-driven capabilities in software, and the human becomes the overseer and the validator of what's happening, the health, if you will, of the decisions that are being made automatically and autonomously in software. If you look at how this plays out, it plays out in OpenConfig, plays in NutConf and Yang, so new programming, more agile programming capabilities that are rich in features and services, along with our partnerships in the marketplace, whether it be Ansible acquired by Red Hat and having Ansible playbooks for automation to stand up an infrastructure, or whether it's Puppet and Chef with pre-programmed templates and policy controls in a uniform way across compute, network and storage, tied into intelligently through our platforms. Through event-driven infrastructure, the Juniper event-driven infrastructure, and using our management capabilities and our automation framework in the likes of network implementation and test automation, how we solve and predict challenges in our customers' networks and automatically feed our customers' data and network health into our own technical assistance centers, for example. Whether it's software-defined secure networks inside our security architecture, whether it's AppFormix, and we'll talk more about that in terms of digital operations holistically across layers, whether it's service chaining and the ability to have visibility across multi-clouds with our software-defined controller in Contrail, or traffic steering and engineering intelligent routing like a satellite navigation system in your car, optimizing the traffic pathways of the internet highway across wide area networks through a software intelligence in Northstar, or whether it's looking at advanced threat protection capabilities in software through our Cyfort acquisition. So automatically then rebalancing bandwidth, auto bandwidth allocation to certain paths and applications as we move forward is another key capability to the future autonomous networks. So we talk about multi-cloud, hybrid to multi-cloud challenges. If you look at public cloud, why do I go into public cloud? Cloud-based templates that are sitting there to be consumed. Customer service catalogs, so I can have portals of self-service consumption. Operational service models that are there with my own capabilities and cost models associated with them. In a private cloud, it's more about development operations and now security operations tooling, bring your own orchestration capabilities and operational management. These two worlds, you have a lack of compatibility, there's functionality gaps, there's inconsistencies in terms of how those are implemented and used to monitor, operationalize and automate provisioning, for example, on these tools and systems. So you get vendor lock-in, you have challenges with return on investment in that environment. So what's happening now is this coexistence, instead of having different tool sets, starting to learn through these models, working with other companies and automation orchestration capability vendors in the marketplace, creating compatibility and consistent, but by integrating them through an intelligent higher software layer inside Contrail as an example. So at the moment, it's too complex. The federation between clouds is a challenge. It's heterogeneous in nature, and IT is ultimately overwhelmed. So too many tools, looking at tool consolidation, using the right tools, moving forward, and to do more tasks with fewer tools to optimize that operational process is a key focus of spend and transformation within inside our customers' IT multi-cloud environments today. And with Appformix that we acquired about 18 months ago, software-defined operations. So again, looking across the physical infrastructure in routing, switching and security through common operating system in Junos, with common APIs and integrated capabilities like the Juniper telemetry interface, JTI. And then how does that interact with that next layer? And there are two types of customers there. There's the traditional enterprise VMware virtualization company with vRealize operations environments, through to service providers on the other side with the number one deployed controller in telecoms companies in Contrail. Through to these more open automation and orchestration tool sets being delivered in a supported fashion in the industry with the likes of Red Hat's OpenShift, for example, as well as Kubernetes. So as we look at Kubernetes orchestration moving forward, a lot of these tools are gaining much traction in the marketplace as applications and APIs become much more open source in nature, but in a very structured and supported fashion. As I talked earlier, there are virtual platforms to our underlying infrastructure. So take virtual SRX security platform as an example. Now the connection into the cloud, where we've tied in this service option with the consumption of, say, Amazon AWS or Microsoft Azure, you now connect with virtual security policies. So your intent-driven central policy engine with your policy definition template in VSRX can sit within your own environment, but also against your workloads sitting in AWS or Azure, to name a couple. As that evolves in terms of cloud native applications and containerization, we've also developed a CSRX, a containerized version, to map that security capability into microservices and containers. And then up, as you grow up to applications and services, looking at traditional SQL databases through to some of the more cloud environments with MongoDB as an example, tied into Docker containers. This holistic view of operations across these layers, this is the generation, the OSI stack of today and the years moving forward. So this is the modern day OSI stack. And our competitors have challenges correlating between these layers. So one of these advantages you see with Appformix now is being able to take feeds into Appformix and correlate that information across the layers, make intelligent decisions in a real-time and optimized fashion. So it's optimizing service availability, it's making machine learning intelligent decisions, and it's all the way across the layers and across your data centers and clouds, which could be public, private, in nature, and bringing those together. If you look at security, a very different approach is needed to security. Traditionally, we've had the analogy of a castle model. The castle has a moat around it, has a drawbridge. If you get across the drawbridge and you get into the castle, you have access to the castle and the jewels behind there. If you look at more of the hotel model, the security in depth approach, there's a doorman at the door, you have to check in, you get a key card, you might need to use that in the lift to get access to the room. Once you're inside the room, there's then a safe. So if you look at these areas, as microservices become more prevalent, micro-perimeterization, these multiple enforcement points are absolutely key to the roles and responsibilities of security in these modern day architectures. And cloud era security at Juniper is focused on being secure, being performant in terms of reliable, enabling balanced cost and growth, which is a challenge, balancing cost and growth in a public cloud environment where you don't have control of spiraling costs with fast growth. Automation to eliminate risk, reduce cost, and decrease the time to market for new services. So focusing on your automation strategy inside the marketplace. And at every layer in that new architecture that we talked about, being open and integrated between our hardware and software and our service models, as well as our alliance partners in that future OSI stack that we talked about just now. So in self-driving networks, it's about integrating all of the hardware and software components of the modern day infrastructure. It's about enabling resources, not the constraint of being able to scale resources independently of each other as they're needed to be consumed by applications. And it's about being secure from the application, whatever form that's in, through to the data itself in the back-end storage environments. So at Juniper, we've defined 5 common steps of activity inside our customers moving from the data center to a multi-cloud, scalable and automated environment. So if you look at where a lot of our customers are with heterogeneous environments and brownfield data centers, this is the challenge of efficient automated IT today, having these environments. So the consumption of public cloud services is getting higher while they look at the different steps to go through. And looking at the discovery process inside our customers, we can take specific actions to deliver automation throughout specific areas to drive an holistic automated infrastructure inside our customers' environments. As that starts to become multi-domain in nature, there's a number of opportunities for our customers to reduce cost, 70% time savings to market in a number of our customers, up to 100x resource scaling in speed benefits to our customer environments through multi-domain automated data center programs of activity. And here you start to see the consumption of cloud services, but with an intelligent connection layer at the APIs between those clouds to consume those intelligently and to use, say, analytical type services within, say, Google Cloud platforms versus certain applications that want infrastructure as a service. And then be able to bring those back into your own environment as well, as and when you need to. And start to then look at areas of dynamic cloud services. Start to look at how I can repurpose staff and upskill some of our staff into different beneficial areas for IT moving forward. You can see a number of the gains here when we add network virtualization like Contrail. When you start to look at encompassing Mode 1 and Mode 2 application services in a single operational model for our customers. And then really a highly orchestrated multi-cloud environment with common policies, intent-driven services across multiple fabrics, and also introducing application life cycles. More and more applications in our customers coming to market with those agile application development models we talked about. And so with that comes development and operations, the R&D, test and dev type of environments, through to seamlessly moving that application into pre-production and then into production, whether it's within your own cloud or a external public cloud service offering, for example. But these are just 5 broad key areas where we see transformation occurring in our customers' architectures today. And yes, it is about moving through those in a intelligent way, increasing the intelligence of that IT platform. And it's not just about the technology. What we're working with our customers when we're looking at that multi-cloud discovery, it's about understanding people, process and technology. And it's when people, process and technology comes together in the most efficient way to deliver those services, it's with the power of IT inside our customers. And so we find that customers may be looking at physical data center consolidation and maybe taking 3, 4, 5 data centers down to 2 or 3. Some have got 50, 60 data centers, coming down to 18, 20 type data centers. But those new architectures are delivered through an automation program of activity, driving the efficiency in network implementation, test automation as an example. But simultaneously to that activity inside our customers, they're consuming software as a service. Microsoft 365, for example, Salesforce.com, whether it be for expense management with Concur, for example. And it may be that I've got certain workloads that are in a Google Cloud platform and others that are in Amazon Web Services. So it's not saying that you have everything at one end or the other. You may be doing simultaneous programs of activity inside your own environment, and this is how we're working with customers. We're running multi-day workshops on this one slide alone. This is the transformation of IT in the data center and cloud that's occurring with our customers that we see today. So in summary and a final thought, is now the time to consider the need for a cloud-grade automated network? Of course it is. I look forward to discussing this further with you.